Hey everyone, my name is Hannah and I am the business owner of The Corner of Craft and Chromatic Yarns. Chromatic Yarns is like underneath the umbrella of The Corner of Craft, if that makes sense. Welcome. This is technically meant to be The Corner of Craft. Only my whole house is kind of now The Corner of Craft, as crafting materials tend to migrate from where they're meant to be and want to be everywhere in the house, as I'm sure many of you can relate. It's meant to be confined to a corner. It's not confined to a corner. I am in Nottingham, in the middle of England, where, you know, Robin Hood and his merry men hail from. Although in my eyes it's not the middle of England, it's more like the north, as I'm from very south, as you can hear by how crazily posh I am. You will most often find me drinking tea. True to form, here I am with a cup of tea. So my business is a business of two parts. I have the overarching The Corner of Craft, which is where I'm known as all over social media and the internet. I have a podcast that I try to record semi-frequently and show you things that I've been knitting and crocheting. But I also sell hand-beaded stitch markers and yarn that I've dyed under Chromatic Yarns. Is the yarn biz. So the stitch markers that I make are super cool, and I mean, totally tooting my own horn here. They're quite unusual and just quite nice. So I make these lightweight, adorable stitch markers by sewing tiny glass beads together one by one to make up adorable shapes. Because the beads are so lightweight, it means that they're really good on a range of different yarn weights. So I have gathered some of my more popular designs that will be on sale, but there are also many other designs that I also will have in my shop. So feel free to check it out. We have the rainbow sheep. Oh, this is when I have the game of trying to get things to focus. We have the rainbow sheep. We have a cute badger, you know, for all the Hufflepuffs out there, and also just people that like badgers. There's a fox wearing a flower crown, because why the devil not? Pineapples. Unicorn. There's a sloth and a bumblebee, and I'm going to get a bit up close and personal with you, so I hope you don't mind. Oh, here's the bumblebee. All of them come on these findings, so you can use them as stitch markers, or you can use them as progress keepers. You can use them on crochet, knitting, blah blah blah. And I don't know if you can see my horribly bitten nails. Each tiny little square is a bead. Incredibly small, incredibly delicate, incredibly dainty, incredibly cute. But yes, I really have loved, especially during the pandemic, bead weaving, which means I've got quite the stack under my belt, because I'm very fortunate in that they do tend to sell quite quickly when I do put them in the shop. So I've been saving them up just for Monty at home, and yes, so I've got quite the collection in the shop. The next part of my business that I've briefly mentioned in this unstructured video, I definitely should have written bullet points and made notes and like actually tried to get a little bit of a regime going in it. It's a bit sporadic and all over the place, but if you know me at all, and if you don't, then but if you know me at all, then you will know that this is very on brand. I'm a bit chaotic in my approach to things, but if it works, it works. So the yarn that I dye is under the title Chromatic Yarns. It's Chromatic Yarns by The Corner of Craft, and all of the colorways are inspired by the incredibly nerdy game of Dungeons and Dragons. I love playing Dungeons and Dragons. I really enjoy it. We have a regular group going at the moment. Obviously we can't meet in person right now because global pandemic crisis, but we have a group of, I think, 7 of us that gather around our dining table and roll dice. I play a Furbolg. which is an incredibly tall, hairy, cow-like, majestic being. And I'm a druid, so I do nature magic, and I go by the name of Ellen. She overshares and is overly trusting and talks way too much. Basically, I'm RPing as myself, which is a bit of a weird one. I'm role-playing as myself, just more. Anyway, all of the colorway names and colors that I dye are inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, but that doesn't mean that you have to know what they are in order to enjoy the colors. I just think it's very satisfying about, I don't know, dyeing yarn inspired by either a hideous monster or a really cool sounding spell, you know? So this one is necromancy, which I'm sure I feel like everyone knows what it is. It's like death magic. But yes, super pretty. I love this colorway. It's prestidigitation, which is really hard to say. It does also remind me of one of my favourite French words, which is prestidigitateur, which is a magician. But yes, prestidigitation, really cute. We have Magic Missile, which is such a cool spell. In Dungeons and Dragons, there's lots of fighting that happens because you're fighting monsters. Magic Missile is you fire a missile and it hits them magically. I feel like that one was quite self-explanatory. We have Rock Gnome, which is a race you can play as in Dungeons and Dragons. Super cool. And then one of my faves, I'm only showing you a selection because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But this is Flail Snail, which is such a great name. Is what I think when I think Flail Snail. Flail snails are snails with giant bluish iridescent-y shells and flails as antennae. You know, the balls with the spikes on, so they can lash out and attack. But usually they're quite peaceful. They only attack if you attack. So such cool colours. But there are also plenty of other skeins in the shop, but I just wanted to show you a selection. I started my business of The Corner of Craft back in October of 2013, I believe, where I was making things that I crocheted and sold, and then I started working at a bead shop, learned how to bead weave, and then I tried to sell jewellery that I made, bead weaving. That didn't quite pan out either. It wasn't until I moved to Germany in 2015 and then met one of my best friends in 2016 who was more in the online knitting community than I was, who suggested making stitch markers. So I thought, tell you what, that's a good idea. So I started to bead weave stitch markers and the rest is history. When we moved back to the UK in 2017, I knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue more. I'd managed to build up a bit of a customer base, thank you all very much, and decided to dive in with yarn dyeing. I dabbled a bit while I was in Germany, and then when I moved back to the UK, I decided to go big or go home. So I dove right in whilst working part-time, and then in July of 2018 I was able to leave my part-time job and continue The Corner of Craft full-time, which is amazing and I'm so grateful. I have a lot of fun. It's really fun. One of my favourite parts of the business is doing shows, so while this year is a bit sad in those regards, I have loved seeing how innovative people have been with online shows and the like. I just think it's really cool and it's a really fun alternative way of getting to know people and meeting people and blah blah blah. But yes, I feel like I've taken up enough of your time and rambled on for long enough, so sorry about that. Once I start talking I can't tend to stop. If you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free. I am The Corner of Craft pretty much everywhere. My website is thecornerofcraft.co.uk, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching and have fun shopping the Wool Monty at home. Oh, I'm so excited to do some shopping. Bye.